Shadows beyond the stars. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council shimmered with the collected light of 1,000 alien technologies. Crystalline structures rose in elegant spirals toward a transparent dome that revealed the purple-tinged nebula beyond. Representatives from over 300 species occupied their designated platforms, a kaleidoscope of evolutionary paths from across the known universe. Dr. Cora Hayes stood alone on the smallest platform, positioned at the lowest tier of the hall. The solitary human representative wore a simple navy uniform with Earth's insignia, a blue globe with a single silver star above it. She remained perfectly still as whispers and telepathic communications rippled through the assembly. "The petition from Sol System has been recognized," announced High Chancellor Zex Toril, his four arms moving in ceremonial patterns while his central eye fixed on Cora. The Chancellor's translucent skin pulsed with bioluminescent colors that the translator indicated conveyed amusement tinged with condescension. "The species designate human has achieved rudimentary interstellar travel within the past standard decade, qualifying them for protectorate status." Cora bowed her head slightly, saying nothing. The rehearsed humility burned in her chest. "As is standard procedure for primitive species integration," Zex Toril continued, "Earth will be granted limited development rights in Sector 47 Epsilon, a region containing 3 habitable but resource-depleted worlds. Your species will be permitted to establish colonies under supervision and with appropriate technological limitations." A Vordax representative, a reptilian being with scales that shifted color like oil on water, raised a clawed appendage. "Chancellor, I must object to even this minor concession. The humans have yet to overcome their barbaric tendencies. Our cultural observation outposts report ongoing conflicts and wasteful resource consumption. They should remain quarantined until they achieve proper civilization standards." Murmurs of agreement echoed through the chamber. Cora's jaw tightened, but her expression remained neutral. "Your objection is noted, Representative Casmore," the Chancellor replied. "However, the accords are clear. Any species achieving independent faster than light travel, however primitive, must be offered protectorate status or risk unauthorized expansion. We prefer to manage their development." Laughter rippled through the assembly. Cora recognized it for what it was: mockery. According to Council intelligence, humanity had stumbled upon basic warp technology barely 8 years ago, making them technological infants in galactic terms. "The human representative may respond," Zex Toril said, gesturing magnanimously toward Cora. She stepped forward, activating the platform's amplification field. "On behalf of Earth and humanity, I extend our profound gratitude for the Council's generosity. We accept protectorate status and the assigned territory with humility. We look forward to learning from the advanced civilizations represented here and promise to abide by all technological restrictions." The submission in her voice was perfect, practiced for months with Earth's covered diplomatic court. The Council representatives nodded, satisfied with humanity's apparent acceptance of its lowly place. "Then it is settled," declared the Chancellor. "Earth will receive the standard technological supervision package. Your warp capabilities will be limited to prevent unauthorized expansion beyond Sector 47 Epsilon. Council inspectors will visit your colonies quarterly to ensure compliance." With the formal proceedings concluded, Cora was escorted from the chamber by 2 towering security drones. They deposited her at her assigned quarters, a small, austere room befitting her species status. As the door sealed behind her, Cora waited 30 seconds before her composed facade cracked. A smile spread across her face. She removed a small device from beneath her insignia pin and placed it on the room's central table. A quick series of taps activated its quantum encryption field, creating a bubble that would render any surveillance devices useless. "Olympus Base. This is Envoy. Phase 1 complete." She subvocalized, her neural implant. Technology the Council believed humans were centuries from developing. Transmitting directly to Earth's hidden command center. "Confirmed, Envoy. Proceed with report," came the immediate response in her mind. They bought it completely. We've been assigned Sector 47 Epsilon, exactly as intelligence predicted. On the other end of the quantum communication, Admiral Marcus Chen allowed himself a rare smile. The holographic displays surrounding him in Earth's hidden headquarters, deep beneath the Mariana Trench, showed the real-time positions of humanity's 7 battle fleets, currently concealed throughout the solar system and beyond. Perfect, Chen replied. And their assessment of our technological capabilities. They believe we achieved basic warp travel 8 years ago. Our ships are classified as rudimentary and barely functional. No indication they suspect anything beyond that. Chen's cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on the strategic display, showing Sector 47 Epsilon. Excellent. If they only knew what they were giving us. What the Galactic Council didn't know, what humanity had spent 50 years ensuring they wouldn't discover, was that Sector 47 Epsilon contained something far more valuable than habitable planets. Deep scans by Earth's stealth probes had detected a massive quantum anomaly spanning the sector, invisible to conventional sensors, but capable of amplifying FTL communications and jump capabilities by a factor of thousands. The Council was giving humanity the keys to the galaxy while believing they were confining them to a backwater. Return to Earth for full debrief, Envoy. Phase 2 begins immediately. Cora deactivated the encryption field and allowed herself one more smile before resuming her role as the humble representative of a primitive species. Admiral Chen stood before the United Earth Defense Council, the leaders of humanity's unified military and political structure. The chamber, buried 2 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean, housed the 12 individuals who had guided Earth's shadow expansion for decades. The Council has taken the bait, Chen announced, activating the central holographic display. Sector 47 Epsilon has been officially granted to humanity as our protectorate territory. Secretary General Amara Okafor, the elected leader of the unified Earth government, nodded in satisfaction. And they suspect nothing of our true capabilities. Nothing, Chen confirmed. Their intelligence indicates we achieved primitive warp capability in 2217, placing us approximately at technology level 2 on their scale. They believe our ships are barely capable of reaching neighboring star systems. Laughter filled the chamber. Earth had actually achieved FTL travel in 2150, nearly 75 years earlier. The first quantum jump drives had been developed in 2176, and military applications had quickly followed. Show them our current deployment, Okafor requested. Chen expanded the holographic display. Hundreds of green dots appeared throughout a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy, each representing a human vessel or installation. We currently maintain 7 battle fleets with over 400 capital ships and 2,000 support vessels, Chen reported, all equipped with 3rd-generation quantum drives and phase shift technology. We have established 27 cover colonies beyond our solar system, all maintained under absolute communications blackout and shielded from Council detection. Dr. Elijah Mbeki, head of Earth's Special Projects Division, stepped forward. And what of the Void signatures? The room grew silent. The Void, a mysterious force or species that had been detected at the edges of explored space, remained humanity's greatest concern and the primary reason for their deception. Chen's expression darkened as he pulled up a new set of holographic displays. Void activity has increased by 42% in the past standard year. We've confirmed 3 more incidents of planets going dark in the outer sectors. The Council continues to classify these events as natural disasters or the result of regional conflicts. But we know better, Okafor said quietly. We do, Chen agreed. Our deep space probes have captured more readings. The patterns are consistent with our hypothesis. Something is systematically consuming or converting entire worlds, and it's moving inward, toward the more densely populated sectors. Mbeki adjusted his glasses, a habit from before ocular implants became standard. And the Council? Still in denial, Chen replied. Their historical archives mention the Void only as an ancient myth, a Bujiman story to frighten young species. They'd been at peace for so long they'd forgotten how to recognize an existential threat. Okafor stood, her decision made. Then we proceed as planned. While the Council believes we are humbly establishing our first colonies in our assigned sector, we will accelerate deployment of the 7th Fleet to the quantum anomaly. If our calculations are correct, we can use it to extend our sensor grid and early warning system to cover nearly 70% of the galaxy. And if the void is what we fear it is, Chen added, humanity will be the only civilization prepared to fight it. A responsibility we never asked for, Okafor said, but one we will not shirk. For Earth, and for a galaxy that doesn't even know it needs saving. Cora's shuttle approached the seemingly ordinary cargo vessel waiting at the edge of the Council's central system. To any watching eyes, it appeared to be a simple transport, the kind permitted to ferry representatives of protectorate species. Once inside, however, Cora made her way through security fields to the vessel's true command center. Captain Nadine Rodriguez greeted her with a sharp salute. "Welcome aboard the Thermopylae, Doctor. I trust your performance went well." Cora smiled. "Perfectly. We have our assignment and our restrictions, all carefully monitored by Council overseers who will be watching our every move in Sector 47 Epsilon." "Excellent," Rodriguez replied. "Let me show you our little secret." She led Cora to a secure terminal where a star chart materialized. "While you were playing the humble diplomat, we completed our final scans of the Council's defense grid. They have approximately 3,000 patrol vessels covering 200 major systems. Their response time to any sector averages 6 hours. More than enough time," Cora noted. "Indeed. And this," Rodriguez expanded one section of the display, "is what they're completely unaware of." The display showed dozens of red signatures moving through deep space, far from any established trade routes or habitable worlds. The latest void incursion. Yes, 3 more systems have gone dark in the past month. We've documented the pattern, tracked the energy signatures. The Council dismisses these as navigation hazards or pirate activity, but our analysis is conclusive. Cora studied the data, her expression grim. "How long?" "At current trajectories, the void will reach the first populated Council world within 8 months. They'll be completely unprepared. And that's when we reveal ourselves." Rodriguez nodded. "Operation Sleeping Giant will enter its final phase. The Council believes they've placed a primitive species in a resource-poor sector. Instead, they've given humanity the perfect staging ground from which to save the galaxy." The Thermopyla's engines hummed to life, its ordinary exterior concealing drive technology that could outrun anything in the Council's fleet. As the ship prepared to jump, Cora gazed out at the glittering Council homeworld one last time. "They mock us now," she said quietly. "But soon enough, they'll be thanking us, if they're wise enough to recognize salvation when they see it." The starfield outside the viewport stretched and blurred as the Thermopylae made the quantum jump that would take it back to Earth in minutes rather than the weeks the Council believed such a journey required. The countdown to revelation had begun. Rising from the ashes, 6 months had passed since Earth received its protectorate status. In that time, humanity had established 3 visible colonies in Sector 47 Epsilon, each one carefully designed to appear primitive and struggling. Exactly what the Council expected from a fledgling species. Prefabricated habitats with intentionally inefficient power systems, shuttlecraft with limited range, agricultural domes that seemed to barely sustain the small population. It was all a masterful deception. Beneath the surface of the smallest moon in the system, designated Epsilon 3, Earth had constructed its forward command center. Deep underground, protected by technology that rendered it invisible to Council scanners, Operation Sleeping Giant entered its final phase. Admiral Chen stood before the holographic tactical display, watching as red indicators spread like a disease across the galactic map. The void was moving faster than their models had predicted. "Time to intercept with the Vega colony?" he asked. Lieutenant Commander Imani Okoro, his tactical officer, enlarged the relevant sector. 17 hours, sir. The Council still hasn't responded to the distress signals. They think it's a communications malfunction, Chen said, his voice tight with controlled anger. Even now, they refuse to see what's right in front of them. The Vega colony, home to over 12 million Aurelian settlers, would be the first major populated world to face the void. The Council had dismissed the increasing reports of lost communication with outlying outposts, classifying them as technical issues or exaggerated concerns. All fleets report ready, Admiral Okoro announced. The quantum amplifier is fully operational. Chen nodded. The massive installation built in secret around the quantum anomaly in Sector 47 Epsilon had been completed 3 weeks ahead of schedule. It would allow Earth's fleets to jump simultaneously across vast distances, arriving at threatened worlds in minutes rather than days. And our Council observers. Okoro smiled slightly. Currently enjoying a tour of our primitive agricultural facilities on Epsilon 1. Their shuttle experienced an unfortunate navigation system failure that will delay their return by approximately 24 hours. Then it's time, Chen said. He activated the secure communication channel that would reach all 7 of Earth's battle fleets simultaneously. All vessels, this is Admiral Chen. Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. I repeat, Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. Execute Phase 3. Throughout the galaxy, hidden human warships powered up their real drives. Stealth fields disengage. Weapons systems came online. The true face of humanity's military might reveal itself as hundreds of ships emerged from concealment. Chen turned to his communications officer. Send the message to the Council. All channels, maximum priority. High Chancellor Zex Toril was presiding over a routine resource allocation debate when every communication device in the Great Hall activated simultaneously. The emergency override, a security measure never before triggered in the Council's history, silenced all other transmissions. A human face appeared on the central projection. Admiral Marcus Chen, wearing the formal uniform of Earth's United Defense Force, stared out at the assembled representatives. Attention Galactic Council. This is Admiral Marcus Chen of Earth. We have detected a major incursion of the entity you know as the Void approaching the Vega colony. Our analysis indicates total planetary destruction will occur within 16 hours if no action is taken. Shouts and exclamations filled the hall. Zex Toril's skin flashed with patterns indicating shock and outrage. What is the meaning of this? He demanded. How have you accessed our emergency protocols? And what authority does a protectorate species have to? Chen cut him off. We don't have time for denials, Chancellor. The void is real, it is approaching, and we are taking action. Earth forces are mobilizing to evacuate the Vega colony and engage the threat. Impossible, sputtered Representative Casmore. Your species possesses only basic warp technology. You have no military vessels capable of reaching Vega, let alone. The transmission split into multiple views, showing hundreds of warships emerging from stealth throughout Council space. Ships unlike anything the Council had on record. Sleek, powerful vessels with weapon systems that hummed with barely contained energy. The limitations you believe we operate under are a fiction, Chancellor, Chen stated flatly. Earth achieved quantum jump capability 70 years ago. We have maintained a covert defense force throughout our exploration of space. While you believed us to be taking our first tumbling steps beyond our solar system, we were establishing a defensive perimeter against the threat your Council refuses to acknowledge. Stunned silence fell over the Great Hall. The representatives stared at images of human warships that by all rights shouldn't exist, couldn't exist, according to their understanding of human development. This is a violation of your protectorate status. Zex Toril finally managed. A deception of the highest order. A necessary deception, Chen replied. For centuries, your Council has ignored the growing threat of the void. Your archives mention it only as ancient myth, yet your outer colonies have been disappearing one by one. We tracked the pattern. We gathered the data you dismissed, And now we're taking action." Before the Chancellor could respond, another emergency signal cut through the transmission. An Aurelian military commander, his feathered crest flattened in distress, appeared. "Council, we have lost contact with our outer defense platforms around Vega. Something is approaching. Energy readings unlike anything we've encountered. Our evacuation efforts are only at 7% capacity. We request immediate military support." Chen's face reappeared beside the Aurelians. "All Earth vessels, execute jump to Vega system. Evacuation protocols Alpha through Delta. Battle groups 1 and 2, prepare for defensive engagement." Before the Council's disbelieving eyes, the human warships vanished from their positions, only to reappear instantaneously in the Vega system, thousands of light-years away, a feat that should have been impossible with known physics. "We will provide a live feed of the evacuation and defense efforts," Chen informed the Council. "I suggest you watch carefully, Chancellor. The threat you've ignored for centuries is about to reveal itself." Captain Sophia Reyes stood on the bridge of the EDF Excalibur, the flagship of Earth's First Fleet. Through the viewports, she could see the curved edge of Vega's primary colony world, its cities glittering against the darkness. And beyond it, approaching from the system's edge, a distortion in space that defied description. The void. Sensors struggled to define it. Not quite a ship, not quite a natural phenomenon. It absorbed light rather than reflecting it, creating a tear in the fabric of reality that stretched across thousands of kilometers. "All evacuation vessels report boarding in progress," Captain, her first officer reported. "Estimated 40 minutes to complete civilian extraction. The void will reach the planet in 35. Reyes replied grimly. "Deploy the Aegis defense grid. All weapons systems to standby. We need to buy those civilians time." Throughout the system, smaller Earth vessels released thousands of autonomous defense platforms, creating a three-dimensional barrier between the approaching anomaly and the populated world. The technology was generations beyond anything the Council possessed, the result of decades of focused military development, while other species enjoyed the peace guaranteed by Council membership. "Incoming transmission from Admiral Chen," the communications officer announced. Chen's face appeared on the main screen. "Captain Rice, the Council is watching. This is humanity's moment of truth. Show them what we can do." "Understood, Admiral." Rice straightened her uniform. "It's time to introduce ourselves properly." In the Great Hall, the Council watched in stunned silence as human ships executed maneuvers that defied their understanding of physics. The evacuation proceeded with military precision, massive transport vessels descending into Vega's atmosphere to extract civilians while smaller craft provided cover. "Impossible," whispered Casimir. "Their technology. It cannot be." "And yet it is," replied Chancellor Zex Toril, his skin now pulsing with patterns that indicated deep concern. "They've been hiding their true capabilities from us. But why?" An ancient representative of the XL Naga, a species so old they rarely spoke in council proceedings, floated forward. "Because they did not trust us to act, Chancellor. And it seems their judgment was sound." The feed from Vega showed the void entity accelerating toward the planet. Where it passed, matter simply ceased to exist. Small moons vanished. Orbital platforms disappeared without even debris remaining. Then the human defense grid activated. Thousands of platforms fired simultaneously, releasing a network of energy that formed a barrier between the void and the planet. The entity struck the field, and for the first time, seemed to slow. "Remarkable," murmured the XL Naga representative. "They've created a phase-shifted quantum barrier, technology even we abandoned as theoretically impossible." Human warships moved into formation, their weapons charging with energy that caused the Council's monitoring systems to overload and reset. When the feed stabilized, they witnessed something no one had believed possible. The void entity was being contained, corralled by the human defense grid into a specific region of space. Admiral Chen's voice echoed through the hall. "Council members, What you are witnessing is the deployment of technology we developed specifically to combat this threat. We call it the Prometheus Protocol, a method of isolating and potentially neutralizing void entities. How long have you known of this threat? Demanded the Chancellor. We detected the first void signature 43 years ago, Chen replied. While your council dismissed reports from outer colonies as communications failures or natural phenomena, we investigated. What we found alarmed us enough to accelerate our military development and maintain absolute secrecy about our true capabilities. On the display, the human ships tightened their formation. The void entity, trapped within their energy grid, pulsed and writhed like a living thing in pain. All vessels, execute Prometheus sequence, ordered Captain Rice. The ships fired in perfect synchronization, their weapons converging on the trapped entity. Space itself seemed to bend and fold around the void. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the darkness imploded, collapsing in on itself until nothing remained but normal space. Silence fell over the Great Hall. The threat has been neutralized, Chen announced. The Vega colony is safe. All civilians have been evacuated to secure locations. Earth forces will remain on station to ensure no secondary incursions occur. Chancellor Zextoral's skin had gone almost transparent, a sign of extreme emotional distress in his species. Admiral Chen, what you have done today. What we have done, Chen interrupted, is what we have prepared to do for decades. Protect life, all life. From a threat you refuse to acknowledge. We accepted our humiliating protectorate status. We allowed you to believe we were primitive and weak, all so we could position ourselves to act when the moment came. But why the deception? Asked a Centaurian representative. Why not simply share your technology with the Council? Would you have believed us? Chen asked. Would you have accepted that a species you considered primitive had developed technology beyond your understanding? Or would you have seen us as a threat to be contained? History, your own archives, suggested the latter. The ancient Exil Naga representative moved forward. The human speaks truth. Our council has grown complacent, set in its ways, dismissive of warnings. I have raised concerns about the void for centuries, only to be politely ignored. Chancellor Zextoral's color slowly returned as he gathered his composure. Admiral Chen, your actions today have saved millions of lives. This cannot be denied. But your deception, your violation of Council protocols, this is unprecedented. So is the threat we face, Chen replied. The void entity we neutralized is not the only one. Our sensors have detected at least 7 more approaching from the galactic rim. The Vega colony was just the beginning. The Chancellor's 4 arms moved in a gesture of resignation. What would you have us do? Accept reality, Chancellor. Earth is not the primitive species you believed us to be. We possess technology that can combat this threat. We have ships positioned throughout Council space that can respond to incursions within minutes rather than hours. Work with us, not as our overseers, but as equals. 3 days later, Dr. Cora Hayes once again stood before the Galactic Council. This time, however, she wore the formal uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps, with all its medals and honors visible. Behind her stood Admiral Chen and Captain Rice, representing Earth's military. The Great Hall had been rearranged. Earth's platform now stood at the same level as the other major powers. The Council recognizes the sovereign nation of Earth and its colonies, announced Chancellor Zextoral, his voice carrying through the chamber without a trace of its former condescension. In light of recent events, all protectorate restrictions are hereby lifted. Furthermore, the Council formally requests Earth's assistance in establishing a galaxy-wide defense network against the threat, now confirmed as the Void. Cora stepped forward. Earth accepts this recognition and pledges our full cooperation in defending all sentient life against the coming darkness. Our technology, our ships, our personnel, all will be made available to this joint effort. There is the matter, interjected Representative Kaz Moore, his tone considerably more respectful than before. of how humans achieve such technological advancement without detection. Our understanding of your species' development path was significantly in error. Admiral Chen smiled slightly. A combination of factors: representative, careful compartmentalization, stealth technology, and perhaps most importantly, your own expectations. You saw what you expected to see: a primitive species taking its first steps into the galactic community. You never looked deeper because you never considered it necessary. A mistake we will not make again, the Chancellor acknowledged. The humans have taught us a valuable lesson in humility, one that may well have saved our civilization. As the formal proceedings continued, Captain Rice leaned toward Chen. 50 years of hiding, she whispered. Was it worth it? Chen watched as the council representatives, now treating the humans as equals, discussed the implementation of Earth's defense technologies throughout council space. Look at them, he replied quietly. Yesterday they thought us children. Today they speak to us as peers. Sometimes the only way to earn respect is to prove you never needed it in the first place. Cora Hayes signed the new treaty with a flourish, the Treaty of Equal Partnership between Earth and the Galactic Council. As the document was formally registered, she couldn't help but smile at the irony. Earth had entered the galactic stage as a humble supplicant, only to reveal itself as the salvation of species thousands of years more ancient. For Earth, she whispered, echoing the motto that had guided their decades of secret preparation, and for a galaxy that didn't know it needed saving. The humans had hidden in the shadows, building their strength while appearing weak. They had endured mockery and condescension while preparing for a threat only they took seriously. And when the moment came, they had risen from those ashes of humiliation to stand tall, not as conquerors, but as protectors. Humanity had finally taken its rightful place among the stars.